Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Daredevil archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve a legendary dial that can change the course of history. Accompanied by his goddaughter, he soon finds himself squaring off against Jürgen Voller, a former Nazi who works for NASA. Movie's directed by James Mangold and it stars Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen, Boyd Holbrook, and Antonio Banderas. I grew up watching the Indiana Jones movies as a kid and playing the Lego game on the Xbox 360. Hearing that they were actually making another Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford got the little kid in me pretty excited, I'm not gonna lie. But when I got past the initial excitement, I did start to get a little skeptical. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull didn't go over too well, and that was Steven Spielberg and a younger Harrison Ford. So how is James Mangold and an older Harrison Ford gonna do this time around? James Mangold is a great director though. I mean, I adore Logan, and I also really enjoy 3:10 to Yuma. But it has been a really long time since we've gotten a really good Indiana Jones movie. And I am sad to say that this is unfortunately not a great Indiana Jones movie. It's just very okay and a pretty unnecessary installment in the franchise. I don't think this movie really does anything significant enough to justify its existence in the franchise. And that's pretty frustrating to me because I actually think this movie has a lot of really good ideas. They're just not executed to the fullest potential. Everything is just pretty surface level. There's nothing really awful and there's nothing really amazing either. The script takes this cool, unique idea for Indiana Jones story and just makes it unbelievably paint by the numbers. Basically, the entire movie is Indy going somewhere, finding something, the villain showing up out of nowhere, he makes a crazy escape, and then he takes the thing he found to another location to find another thing over and over again, rinse and repeat, roll credits. Even though I think the action is entertaining enough, the formula gets worn out pretty quick, and it started being the only thing that I could focus on while I was watching the movie, and that's not great. The soul of Indiana Jones is missing here, and I think it's because Spielberg isn't behind the camera this time. The visuals are bland and CGI heavy, and the quippy comedy is pretty much non-existent or just falls flat on its face. In the original trilogy, the journeys felt epic, long, and challenging. But in this movie, it doesn't feel epic, it doesn't feel too challenging, and because we constantly change locations, it doesn't feel too long either. When Indy finds the Ark in Raiders and when he finds the Holy Grail in The Last Crusade, they feel pretty significant and satisfying, and they're some of the most memorable scenes that I can think of in film history. But when we do the things in this movie, it just doesn't hit the same for me. I will say I do think the ending of this movie is pretty cool, but because the journey wasn't as long and challenging, it didn't really satisfy me the way that I wanted it to. And I know that the original Indiana Jones movies are some of the best movies of all time, so comparing this one to those movies isn't necessarily fair, but it's kind of inevitable.
I am inevitable.
On its own, it is a decently entertaining movie. It just doesn't hold a torch to The Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark for me personally, which are my two favorite Indiana Jones movies. Last Crusade is probably my favorite though. Henry Jones Jr. We named the dog Indiana.
Sean Connery, why don't you pick?
Well, the game is afoot. I'll take anal bum cover for 7,000.
The one thing that is great though is Harrison Ford. This wasn't just another paycheck for him. You can tell that he really loves this character and he put everything that he had into this final chapter that he possibly could have. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and Indy's one of my favorite characters of all time. Gonna be sad to see him go, but it's time to hang it up. I am kind of happy that he was able to get one last chance to return to the role and kind of get to say his goodbyes. Mads Mikkelsen is like one of the biggest missed opportunities with this movie though. I think he's a good villain, but I think if they would have just given him a little bit more depth, a little bit more time to cook, and just taken him beyond the surface level, I think he could have been an amazing villain, maybe even the best Indiana Jones villain. But I think he just needed a little bit more screen time than what he got. And Boyd Holbrook is completely wasted here. He's basically reduced to guy with a cool stash that runs around with a gun. That's kind of it. He's like the most basic bad guy ever, and it's pretty disappointing because I really like him as an actor. Phoebe Waller-Bridge gives a good performance performance in the movie, but I kind of went on an emotional roller coaster with her character, which I'm pretty sure you're supposed to. But by the end of the movie, I thought she was all right. There was also kind of like a weird Walmart knockoff of Short Round in this movie. I wasn't too crazy about that. Not even really like too much shade against the actor. It's just I just didn't really enjoy the character much at all. Kind of thought it was annoying and kind of pointless. Also, John Williams turned in yet another great score, and another breaking news: water's wet and the sky is fucking blue. I mean, there's nothing you can say at this point. I mean, he's the greatest composer of all time. Overall, I think this movie is unoffensive. It's just a pretty bland, fun enough Indiana Jones movie that does give you some thrilling scenes and a decent send-off to our favorite archaeologist. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is going to be clocking in at a 60% on the Bravo barometer. Again, this movie has some really great ideas, but they just weren't fully cooked. There's still fun to be had here, just not as much as I was hoping for. I really do think this movie could have been great if they would have just tweaked a few things. But let me know what you guys think if you saw the movie, and what did you think of my review. If you liked it, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more reviews to come in the future. I don't promote it as much as I should, but you should hop in the community Discord if you want to talk to me and the rest of the community about movies, music, games, whatever you want. It's also the best way to stay up to date on everything that I'm planning to do, whether it's videos or streams. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out, everybody.